Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing this impromptu LinkedIn Live because I sometimes challenge myself to inspire my clients. So, today I just launched a brand ambassador program for an organization. And some of the conversation really made me realize how scary it is to build a brand. And I wanted to talk to you all about my own personal experience of building my personal brand on LinkedIn and why it felt so scary. And I'm hoping that my story might inspire you, maybe unblock you, and give you the encouragement to put yourself out there and tell people about your services, especially if you're a founder or an entrepreneur or a business or even a professional. Because, especially for professionals, let's face it, the old way of putting your resume out there is just not cutting it with all of these layoffs. Oh my goodness. I mean, I just read today someone posting on LinkedIn about how one of the big four laid off a whole bunch of people. It's insane. It's becoming increasingly competitive, whether you are an entrepreneur or an employee. The market is very saturated. And so this brings me back, and I keep talking about this over and over and over again, how important it is to build your reputation. Your brand is the way people perceive you. People confuse it and attach it to LinkedIn is my brand, or me going on YouTube is my brand, or my website is my brand, my logo is my brand. No, it is not. First of all, LinkedIn is a platform that allows you to distribute basically your brand value. It enables you to have the opportunity to communicate to people your brand. It is not the only way. There are multiple ways. You going to a networking event or a conference is you communicating your brand. You having a conversation with an existing client is you communicating your brand. And I will tell you all that the biggest blocker for me when it came to building my brand on LinkedIn wasn't the fact that it was LinkedIn. I was not admitting to myself that I was simply terrified of talking about myself. I had a lot of imposter syndrome. I will tell you all that going from being an employee where I had negative experiences of bosses who broke me down, who really impacted my self esteem because of the way they gave me feedback, the way I've been criticized, it really left scars in terms of my confidence. So for me to now overcome that and publicly talk about myself, I just felt too vulnerable to feel judged. I didn't want to feel dumb in front of thousands of people. It's scary enough to feel dumb in front of one person or a smaller subset of people at organization, but to go on a platform where there is this possibility of basically thousands of people seeing my message and judging me felt uncomfortable. But the reality is that no one is going to know who you are until you overcome that fear. And so, what I tell a lot of my clients, and some of the messaging that I try to share during my session of this brand ambassador program that I launched for an organization recently, is let's take LinkedIn for a minute off the table. Let us try to understand, why is it uncomfortable for us to basically communicate our value. And I think I will tell you, based on my own experience, a lot of it comes from lack of clarity. A lot of it comes from not knowing what your hidden talents are, a lot of it comes from not knowing what your audience cares about. And until you get clear on what that is, then you build enough confidence to say, you know what, I'm not wasting my time talking about things that no one is going to pay attention to. Because there's nothing demotivating than making all of this effort and talking to a void only to realize that what you said didn't matter and no one cares. No one wants to ever feel that way. So, investing in that time of self discovery and doing some of the groundwork, even though some people think it's fluffy, is very important. When I started my career coaching business, I worked with a lot of brand strategists who sat down with me, asked me the tough questions like, why did you even get into career coaching? Did you just do it for the money? What was your story? What happened in your life that made you decide to become a career coach? And when we were able to go through my story, it was an organic way for me to realize that the toxic environment that I was in, how I quit over text, how I was frustrated, it made me actually want to improve, to basically help people find better environments and to help people figure out what their talent is and find an organization that aligns to those innate talents that they have. So going through that story is helped me realize that. And you might think, well, I already know what I'm good at. That's not the problem. But the reality is, when you start talking it through with someone, it's actually more fun and it might just bring up memories that you forgot about. So, that exercise of going through my story, getting clear on who my audience is, being able to be brave enough to say, these are the types of clients that I want to work with, and these are the types of clients I don't want to work with. You can't come to these conclusions just sitting by yourself and thinking about them. It's a lot easier for someone to ask you those questions and for you to have those conversations and talk through them. And that is how I start with my clients, because I experienced firsthand how powerful it was. In fact, around 2022, I got to the point in my business where I felt that I wanted a bigger challenge. I wanted to work with clients who challenged me. I wanted to work with clients who are ahead in their career, but my brand was not matching that. My brand was communicating at the level of clients who were beginners. And so I did not realize that until I talked through it with someone who is an expert, right? And then what happened when they helped me um, uncover my blind spot and also gave me the reassurance that I'm ready to take on those clients. Then I started telling stories that are more aligned to the VPs, to the directors that I want to work with versus entry level employees, right? So, what I wanted to say is that the reason we struggle so much with creating content is not because it's LinkedIn, it's not because we don't know how to format a LinkedIn post. It comes down to us not being clear about who we are, who we want to help, and gaining the confidence that we, even if what we do is similar to others, we have a unique style of delivering it. And it's hard to see that when you're inside the jar, right? Topic today is overcoming your fear of posting on LinkedIn, overcoming your fear of talking about the work that you do. And I don't think it has to do with LinkedIn as a platform. I think it is a deeper level problem, which is lack of clarity in terms of what we want to provide as a service, how we are different, what we are good at, who we want to work with. Until we get that crystal clarity, then we know what we're going to talk about. Okay. And then the other thing is, let's take again LinkedIn out of the equation. Um, if you were to get in front of someone in person, would you be able to have a conversation with them? Right? Do you know what to say? Can you speak in an engaging way that holds their attention? It really comes down to a communication struggle. And let's be honest, communication is important, because if you can't hold someone's attention and you're not comfortable speaking and you're not comfortable jumping on a live like I did, or walking up to someone in a networking session or a conference, then you're just not gonna talk about yourself. So that's the big realization. That's the big takeaway. The other thing that I wanted to share with you all that is pragmatic is my framework of helping people build a brand that is authentic, that attracts their client. In order for you to create content that will attract your ideal client, these are some of the things that I encourage you to think about. And let me quickly share my screen. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so this is a very helpful framework that a lot of people have shared with me. Many of my founder clients, entrepreneur clients found useful. We talked about the clarity, right? Like, you need to take a step back before you have conversations with potential clients, before you post on LinkedIn, to understand what your hidden talent is. How are you different than competitors? That's what we mean by brand positioning, is how is your brand different than other competitors? Let us take this drink as an example. Why did I choose it and not some other drink? It tastes good. It has 0 grams of sugar. And it's keeping me awake for this live, right? Whereas maybe there is a similar energy drink that is super high in sugar, tastes disgusting, and will still keep me awake. So knowing what are your natural traits, innate talents that your ideal client is going to appreciate, that you do better than anyone else, who you enjoy working with, being honest about that. The biggest pitfalls that I see people do is they take the clients who come to them and they kind of are like telling the story to themselves that beggars are not choosers, except that that creates this vicious cycle of resentment, of lack of motivation, and then the quality of your service goes down. Or you end up limiting your potential because you're not even trying. You're not even trying, and you're not being honest with yourself about who you can work with. And as founders, as entrepreneurs, maybe we don't have like a scripted career trajectory where typically in organizations employees get promoted. There is that expectation, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the need to grow as an entrepreneur, the need to take on more challenging clients, right? Or clients that you enjoy working with. That is what's going to create that fulfillment. Then figuring out how you show up, right? So sometimes I find clients are very clear about, their why, their passion, who they want to work with. But the issue is they lack confidence. They show up in a way where they're overthinking things. They worry about, how people are going to judge them. And until you overcome that, it's really going to be hard for people to take you seriously. right? Third thing is the credibility and the mastery. When we create content on LinkedIn, it's not about creating new content. It's about taking those conversations that you're already having, taking the work that you're already doing and making it public. It shouldn't be you following trends and you talking about things that you're not comfortable with. It really is about not duplicating the work, honestly. So, something that I do, I'm literally showing you guys an example. I just had a session with, a client, and I took those insights and takeaways and I'm sharing this with you now so that I don't have to duplicate the effort, so that I don't have to rethink what new content I post. I'm just sharing with you things that I'm already doing with my clients, right? So when you have conversations with your clients as a service provider, something that would be helpful is if you can't have the luxury to go on a live right away so that you don't forget what you said, write it down, record it, and then just write it into a post. And don't try to overthink it, because I find that there is this fixation of using frameworks that are out there or copying someone else's style in writing. But that what that ends up doing is it makes you overthink things, and it makes you get terrified of your post, being formatted the exact way that the algorithm is going to like, and that becomes unsustainable. Through practice, through repetition, you will get better. You will find your voice. And when I work with my clients, we don't go into frameworks right away. If any of you have read the book Atomic Habits, it really is about incrementally building that habit gradually and creating that accountability. So I start with getting my clients to just do a brain dump and just post it and not worry about it. And then we take that post and I give them feedback on how they can improve it next time, and take that feedback and incorporate it into the next post. So, when you work with someone who holds you accountable, who sets these milestones for you, you will most likely achieve those goals. I mean, heck, I just shared with you all that I had to work with a brand strategist, even though I am a brand strategist, to keep me accountable. I didn't figure out my hidden talents on my own. I had to talk to someone else to help me with them. Kind of like how a doctor needs another doctor. So, if you are interested in learning how I can help you with those things, if you feel overwhelmed, you need that sounding board. You need that person to help you with your mindset, to help you with that confidence, to give you systems in order to get you to feel more comfortable spreading the word in what you do, whether it's LinkedIn or whether it's in person. Feel free to reach out to me. You can just ask me questions. You can DM me. I encourage people to always, come to me and ask me questions. I have a newsletter that I'm launching. It's actually an email course that's going to provide a lot of value and go deeper in these topics, because sometimes a LinkedIn post, it's hard to go deep in these topics and give you insights. And you're not always going to be able to jump on my LinkedIn live and attend. So it's a very convenient way to get some of these insights in bite-sized method through email. So don't be shy. Reach out to me. Either share with me your email, or if you're struggling with something specific, share that with me. Maybe I can share with you some resources that will help. Maybe we can get on a call and I can understand where you're struggling, come up with a strategy for you and potential of working together. I'm not able to take on too many clients in a single month because I work with organizations B2B in terms of brand, but I work with a handful of founders one-on-one and, professionals to help them build their brand. So definitely jump on that opportunity if that is something that you are struggling with, or ask me about my newsletter. I hope that this was insightful for you. I hope you are gonna get the courage to really prioritize your communication. The ability to communicate right now is your currency in this world. Having that skill set is what's going to set you apart, because no one is going to know about a business if they don't hear about it. I hope you enjoyed this. My name is Nada Buhendi. I'm also known for as the founder whisperer because my approach is very holistic. I don't fixate on just teaching people how to write or overly focus on LinkedIn. I take all of the things into consideration: the mindset struggles, the fear blockers, the productivity, the systems, the branding, because as human beings, we're emotional and we're not just one dimensional. We need help in multiple areas in order to be successful. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and do me a favor, if this has been useful for you, I'm not going to know if you're just silently watching and not giving me feedback. Give me a like, share with me a comment, tell me what part was useful. Let me know if there's something that you would like to hear in my content in the future. That would be extremely helpful for me, and it would encourage me to do more of these lives. Hope you all have a great night.